Okay, Rabotai, we are on live. Welcome to all. We're going to continue off the halachot that we started learning yesterday. Today we're going to speak about three important conditions we need to know in order to surpass the law that we learned yesterday. Okay? We started speaking about it yesterday regarding the 7 liquids. That if you eat anything which is dipped into one of the 7 liquids, you must wash your hands like you do for bread without the blessing of Al Nitzilat Yadayim. Today we're going to show you where there are leniencies to go around this. There are 3 conditions that need to be met if you want to be able to eat with your hands or with a fork without having to wash your hands. Yes?
Got it.
Okay. Condition number 1, if I'm eating something which is dipped into one of the 7 liquids, let's say I want to eat a grape, and it's less than 1 ounce.
Just one single grape.
It's less than 1 ounce, and I'm not touching it. For example, I'm using a fork. I'm allowed to go ahead and eat it that way without having to wash my hands. Or with a spoon. Okay? So the first condition is it has to be less than 1 ounce. Second condition is if the liquid is cooked. I'll give you an example. Third condition is if I'm not touching the food. If I have from these 3 conditions, if I have any 2, I can go ahead and I'm allowed to eat it without washing my hand. So I want to ask you a question, Jigarik. If I want to eat a pickle with a fork and it's more than 1 ounce, am I allowed to do it without washing the hands, yes or no?
I would say yes because I see us doing it in shul.
Yeah, don't see what okay, fine. Okay, so since we have over here 2 from the 3, you have to remember pickles, we have a terminology which is called when something's pickled as if it's cooked. So therefore the brine really is cooked. So I have cooking. Now I'm not using my hands, I'm using a fork or any other material. As long as I'm not using my hands. So I have 2 out of the 3. I'm going to be allowed to eat the pickle without washing my hands. Same thing is going to apply to the olive. So far so good?
Rabbi,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Go ahead,
What
Elon.
does the size, the ounce have to do with what does the size have to do with it? Ounces and all that stuff. If I have it pickled and I'm with a fork, I'm not coming into contact with it. I should technically be able to eat the whole jar.
One more time.
You said one of the criteria is a certain measurement, the size.
Under 1 ounce, because we go after the bread. Just like for bread, you're not going to have to wash your hands if you're eating 1 ounce of bread. I'm eating under 1 ounce of bread. So it's over here, you're not going to have to wash your hands. So basically these halachot, they parallel to the laws of washing of the bread. Tuma will not sit under 1 ounce, Elon.
The question to you is why, if I'm with a fork and it's pickled, am I worried about contacting impurities if I'm not touching the actual solution?
That's why you're allowed to do it.
So why need to do less than an ounce? I can do more than that, no?
Yeah, I never told you less than an ounce. Yeah, if you have regular, it doesn't have to be less than an ounce. It can be more than an ounce.
Okay.
If the pickle or no, Elon, when I said less than an ounce, if you have a grape that is washed, or you have a cherry that is washed, so it's not cooked, but it's washed and it's less than an ounce, you're gonna have to use a fork or a spoon.
Got it.
All right, because remember, you have to have 3 conditions from the 3, 2 have to be met. I want to ask you guys another question. What happens if I have a pickle that is less than an ounce, Elon, and I want to eat it with my hands? Am I allowed to do so or not?
That's only 1 out of the 3.
How did you get that?
What do you mean?
Why is it 1 out of the 3? It's 2 out of the 3.
Where?
The pickle, right, as we said, covers something that is pickled is as if it's cooking, so it's cooked. And it's less than a kazait, so I have 2 of the 3. So there I'm allowed to eat it with my hands. You guys see how it's working, Jigarik?
What if your hands are impure though?
Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything because
You're
it's
eating it with
less.
the fork.
No,
He
but
says
it's
eating
less than a
with the hand.
kazayit. It's less than a kazayit. It's less than 1 ounce. Rich, are you following me, Richard?
Rabbi Amos, bro. I don't know about Richard.
Guys, it's very simple. It's very simple. If it's less than a kazayit and it's cooked and I'm using a fork or a spoon, meaning I'm not touching with my hands, from these 3, if I have 2 conditions that are met, I'm allowed to eat it without washing my hands. Guys, let me ask you a question. You want to go ahead and you want to dip a biscuit into a hot cup of tea. Are you allowed to do so or not? Or do you have to wash your hands?
Wash your hands.
Why?
Because you're touching bread. It's more than 1 ounce.
Biscuit is not bread. Biscuit is a cookie.
Yeah, but it's still, isn't it?
It can be 10
dough,
ounces.
yeast?
It can be 10 ounces. So again, Yaakov, we have to go back to the rules. If I'm not going to touch, if I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to touch the liquid in the tea, that's rule number 1 I have. And then also the tea is cooked, that's number 2. So I have 2 out of the 3, so I'm going to be able to do it.
Okay, true. That makes sense.
You understand? Again, Rabotai, if you want to be safe in all cases, you can always wash your hands. I mean, if it's not out of your way, just wash your hands and you are good.
I think we should just wash hands because this is above my pay grade already. Wash hands, say the bracha.
No bracha, no bracha, no bracha, no bracha.
Oh, no bracha. Okay.
No bracha, okay? All
Wait,
right.
but Rabbi, then why do we have to wash hands when we eat the cookie with milk?
That's a good point. You know why? Because it's not cooked.
The cookies?
No, the milk, the liquid has to be cooked.
Liquid. He's saying liquid.
The liquid has to be cooked. You got it.
Oh,
You're dumb,
you guys, do you hear the rabbi?
So now let's,
Rabbi,
guys,
Rabbi.
yeah, Richard.
Can't you just take a precaution when you guys are very kosher? Can a guy, you guys especially, if you're not sure, just wash your hands. Then you don't have any kind of risk of doing something wrong. So for you guys that are kosher, wash your hands if you're unsure.
Correct. That's the easiest way to go. Correct, Richard. Okay, now I want to ask you guys one more question before we move on to the Musar class. You got to, if your wife made you soup, and you know sometimes you have pieces of meat inside the soup. Are you allowed to eat that meat with your hand or not?
There's a restriction on that?
I'm asking.
I would hope so, because I've been...
No, you can eat it without washing because it's cooked liquid.
That's the reason number 1. Very good, Jack. What about reason number 2? It has to be less than a kazayit. If the meat, which is usually more than 1 ounce, you're not going to be able to eat it with your hands. You have to eat it with a fork. Unless you wash your hands. Yeah. Again, Abotai, all these halachot are very practical. It happens many times. Your wife gives you, soup with meat. You take it. Okay, it's one thing. You could take out the meat with your hands, no problem. But when it comes to eating the meat, you have to make sure that all the conditions are met. Number 1, we have is cooked. If the meat is less than 1 ounce, you're allowed to go ahead and eat it with your hands. If it's more than 1 ounce, you're not allowed to eat it with your hands. To remove it from the soup, you're allowed to. But to eat the meat with your hands, you're not going to be allowed to do it. Yeah, Jigarik, you good there, Jigarik?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Now let me ask you like this. What about shish kebab?
But Rabbi, when we're thinking of like plof and stuff like that, that doesn't apply because there's no liquid there, right?
Correct. Even if there is, there's only minority, it's not majority.
Right.
They do put
Water in there, yeah.
What's his name? I was going to ask you, what about roasted meat, shish kebab, shashlik?
Yeah.
We spoke about it yesterday, that when you have, if it's one of the 7 liquids, it's blood, right? So when you're going ahead and you're making shish kebab, are you allowed to take the shish kebab off the shaput, off the stick,
Skewer.
off the skewer, and then eat it with your hands, or do you also have to wash your hands for that?
I think because it's cooked, I would have to say you don't have to wash your hands.
If it's cooked, you don't have to wash. But what happens if it's more than a kazait, which it is? It's more
Then
than
you
1
wash
ounce.
your hands.
So you have to wash your hands. Okay.
Yeah.
Rabotai, so if you
But you know, the Baharians are so good at just grabbing the stick and just taking it off with the mouth. You don't even touch the meat.
I hear. So over here, Rabotai, by the case of the roasted meat, by the shashlik, by the shish kebab, we're not going to have that problem. You know, Jigarik, why? Because whenever we slaughter an animal, we allow all the blood to come out, correct? Now, when we salt the meat, we soak out all the blood from it. Whatever blood you see on the plate when you do shish kebab, that's not blood, it's only juice. So therefore, it's not blood, it's only juice.
The shish kebab, no? Meaning you don't have to do the salt water, so you don't have to soak it for shashlik, no?
Ben, one more time, I didn't hear you say it again.
You don't have to soak it in salt for shashlik, no?
No, if you want to, no, if you're doing it straight, no, you don't have to, because the fire is going to draw the blood out.
Yeah.
Don't some people soak it like kosher meat because it's too salty?
No, that's something else. That's something else. I'm not going to get into the laws of cleaning the meat right now. But what Ben is asking me, if a person slaughtered an animal, do you have to salt it if you're going to put it directly on the fire? No, because the fire is stronger than the salt. It's going to be able to draw out all the blood. So therefore, Jigarik, the halakha is going to say, when it comes to shish kebab, the blood that you see on the shish kebab, that's only juice and it's not blood, and you're allowed to go ahead and you're allowed to use your hands to eat the shish kebab. Okay? Do you guys have any questions in regard to this before we move forward?
Nope.
Okay. I want to share with you today in Parshat Bereshit in chapter 45, in verse 5. It's Parshat Vayigash. It says over there, let me give you the background story. We know that when Yosef spoke against the brothers, right, he had a dream that they're going to bow down to him, the parents, the mother, the moon, the sun. The brothers got upset and they ended up selling him, correct? Yes, Richard, you know that story? The brothers ended up selling Yosef?
You're on mute, Spike.
I said, Rabbi, a lot of traffic where I am, so I'm not trying to be disinterested.
Okay. All right, so Rabotai, so we see over here, when the brothers sold Yosef, eventually when they came down to Egypt, Jigarik, right? And when Yosef eventually, when he actually saw them, and when they saw him, I want to share with you the language that brings on over here, what Yosef said to the brothers and how he can help us. Yosef says, "Ve'ata enau, al te'atzvu ve'al yichar benechem, ki mechartem oti heina." Yosef, Rabotai, instead of being upset with the brothers, he tells the brothers, do not be sad, do not be angry in your own eyes, for the fact that you guys sold me here, meaning to Egypt. Why? Ki lemichya shalchani Elohim lefanechem. Because Hashem sent me over here in order to be able to provide, right? Because he was the second in command, correct? I want to ask you guys a simple question. Does it make sense? What does it mean? What happened over here? Did the brothers sell Yosef, or did Hashem send him to Egypt? What happened, Richard? The verse doesn't. First he says, because you guys sold me here, and then he says that Hashem sent me here. What does that mean? You hear the question?
It's a beautiful
God's
question.
plan.
Say it again.
God's plan.
God's plan. Now, Rabotai, I want to tell you like this. Today, we have sometimes when people do something to you, we automatically, Richard, get upset, correct? We blame the people. Right? We don't speak to them for years. Who knows what we do? Court cases, money settlements. Comes the Torah to teach us how one has to behave. You know what the pasuk is telling us over here? When Yosef HaTzaddik was telling them, you guys sold me over here, you know what he was really saying? It was not you that sold me here. It was Hashem that really sent me over here in order to be able to provide for the world. So don't be upset, don't be angry. You're not the cause of me being in Egypt. Why is this important? Rabotai, how many times does it happen that the people around us or the situation around us that place us into certain situations that we would not like to be in? We get upset, we get angry. Comes the Torah and it says, don't be sad, don't be upset. Do you know why? Because Hashem says, because I'm the one that's planting the seed in order for you to be able to get to your destination. How many times did you see people, they were supposed to get married to a certain girl or boy, didn't work out. They were upset with Hashem. But later when they found the right spouse and they had great children and life went good for them, they look back and they thanked Hashem. Jigari, are you with me or Jigari?
Yeah.
We don't understand 100%. That we think it's the people around us, the situation around us are doing to us the things that's happening. No, it's not doing to us anything. It is Hashem that's using them as his pawn to be able to get us to the right direction. I want to give you a story with Rabbi Victor Miller. A lot of you guys probably don't know him. He was a very big rabbi. He was working. He was not working. He was learning in the yeshiva, in a very big yeshiva, and they needed a rabbi for their community. So Rabbi Victor Miller saw Jigarik, they're going to take him as the rabbi. Listen, he's a very big Talmud Chacham. He's a very big Torah scholar. What happened was they took somebody else from the outside, and they didn't take him per se. You know, Jigarik, what the rabbi said? He said, many months it was bothering me. Why didn't they take me as a rabbi? It was bothering me. Until he says, I had to accept the fact that there's somebody else teaching there, somebody else running the community, and I had to let go of the situation. Jigarik, he says, many years later, when he started becoming even more greater, now he started going around the world and helping people. When he became so great, you know what he said? If I would have stayed in the original place from where I was born, I would have never been great the way I am today. Hashem didn't give me that position for a reason. I thought it was the board members. I thought it was the people in the shul that didn't want me. Little didn't I know that it was Hashem behind the whole thing. And because of that, he said, I was able to become great. Not only in one community, Jigarik, but in the whole world.
The entire world.
Today all his flyers are being given out. All his teachings are being spread. He said, if I would have stayed in that community, nobody would have ever known about me. So you see, Rabotai, how important it is, Rabotai. When something happens to us that we don't like, we have to be able to be like Yosef HaTzaddik. It doesn't make sense. If your own brother sells you out, or your brother sell you out, there's a good reason to be upset with them. There's a good reason to get even with them. Still, what did Yosef do, Jigarik? He forgave them. He says, do not be sad, do not be angry. It is not you, it's Hashem that sent me over here. You have any idea how hard is this to do? Today you have a woman, she says something. Say it again.
Good question. When you say that Hashem chooses your direction, right?
Hashem, he directs you to where he wants you to go.
So you don't have your own choice of direction?
You do. You have your own choice of direction, but things that happen outside of you is not up to you. You can make your own choices. But things outside of you, that you cannot control. You can control what you do, but you can't control what other people do. I'll give you an example. Sometimes you're driving on the highway, correct? You're saying to yourself, should I take the highway or should I go on the local road? Should I take the highway? Look, you go into the highway, you see it's clean. Bam, traffic 2 hours. What do you say, Jigarik? I knew it. I should not have gone here. But that's the wrong thinking. Why? Because you don't know what could have happened had you gone the right way.
Yeah.
We don't understand the things that happen to us.
Yeah, I agree.
They were building a building, those those skyscrapers. They were building a building. I mean, today everything was with glass, but back then they used to build with big bricks. So there was one guy, he was walking to shul early in the morning, nets, literally early in the morning, like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. As he was walking, there was a small pebble on the floor that he stepped in it and he twisted his ankle.
His ankle.
That's bad, yeah? That's bad. So when he twists, it's like, why did that have to happen right now when I'm trying to go do a mitzvah? Jigarik, literally a second and a half later, a brick fell. We don't understand that whatever happens to us is only for the best. You don't see it now, but you're only going to see it later. If you even look back now and you ask yourself, wow, if I would have done this, if I would have done that, thank God it didn't happen. You understand, Jigarik? It could be with anything in life.
Yep.
We have to be able to be like Yosef HaTzaddik. We have to be able to let go of other people hurting us. How do you do, Jigarik? Somebody wrongs you, you got to tell them straightforward. Listen, we're good friends. We're good family members. It's not you. You didn't do it. You didn't send me here. It is HaKadosh Baruch Hu that wanted me to come over here.
Rabbi,
you were only the messenger. Yes, Richard.
the hardest thing in life for me, it took me to 60 years old, and I don't have it perfect. But when you talk about forgiveness, that is like in a spiritual level that I can't get to. See, when somebody talks bad about you or hurts your reputation or steals from you or lies from you or cheats from you, it's very, very, very difficult not to
Be upset at the
get
person.
even. I'm telling you, it's the hardest thing to keep my mouth shut and
Why,
do
Richard?
nothing for a
The
little
question
while.
is why, Richard? Do you know why, Richard? Because we think it's the person that's upsetting us. We don't realize that it's Hashem that is sending us the messages. Maybe He wants the situation to go a certain way. He's redirecting us. We don't know. We don't have any idea what's Hashem's plan. If you start looking at that when somebody wrongs you, it's not them, it's Hashem. You can't get upset at Hashem. It is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You know, I'm going to tell you a story, Richard. This is very sad. I mean, today, you know, you have children, you know, I don't know what to tell you, Richard. You have children today that, I don't know if they're lazy, if they're just bored, or if they have no discipline. But Richard, do you know what people back then went through, God forbid? I know of a story, personal story, that a guy, he went through the chuppah. You know, it's a chuppah through the canopy when he was getting married. He lost his father at a very young age. Chas v'shalom, lo aleinu. He lost his mother a week before the wedding. A week before the wedding. Rabbi Meir Shapira came to him and he told him, you have no reason to be upset and angry with Hashem. Hashem is leading you to a certain path that you and I don't see yet. That's bad, Richard. That's bad. To be without parents, that's bad. Today, what? You say something to somebody they don't like, they get upset. Is that a reason? They take money, a big deal. Is that a reason to get upset? Somebody says they're having a bad day. How can you have a bad day if you are walking, eating, going to the bathroom, you see your family? How in the world can you have a bad day? Is there such a thing? I hate the weather. How can you hate the weather? I don't understand, Richard. Now I'm asking a simple question.
This is unbelievable because what you have is unbelievable amounts of faith, and you have a mind shift. When I hang up now, I'm a better person than 25 minutes ago.
Baruch Hashem, I'm very happy, Richard, I can help. But Richard, before you go, I want to try to delve into something deep over here. What did Yosef HaTzaddik do? He forgave his brothers, correct? There's one thing, Jigari, that is very hard for us to do. You know what that is? Forgive ourselves for the past. Just like you have an obligation to forgive another Jew that wronged you, you have to also understand that Hashem put you through certain paths in life in order for you to get to where you are now. If you wouldn't experience that, you wouldn't appreciate what you have now. So we have to be able to let go of the past and move forward. And a lot of people can't do it. A lot of people don't get married because of this. A lot of people are afraid to have children. A lot of people are afraid to do anything because how they got burned in the past. We have to be able to forgive not only others, but ourselves and move forward. It says in the Torah, do not be sad, do not be angry. That's Hashem, I'm the one who's running your life, not you. Yeah, you're like a pawn. You could go here. You can do your best, Richard. You can try. But you won't succeed if it's not for me, Hashem says. I'm the one who makes the decision in the end. So therefore, Rabotai, this is very important. There's a lot of couples, unfortunately, today, they get divorced for the most, stupidest reasons out there. She said, he said, my mother said, your mother did. Rabotai, we don't understand. We have to be able to forgive one another, to let go of what other people, the wrongdoing that they did. It's not them. Jigarik, do you know that if I can't, can I tell you something, Jigarik? It says in the Torah, do not take revenge and do not bear a grudge. Do you know what I just said or no? It said, loti kam v'loti tor. You're not allowed to take revenge and you're not allowed to bear a grudge. Jigarik, I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
That's the writer.
Do you hear what I just said? Every second that you have a grudge against another Jew, you're doing an Easter from the Torah. Every second that you want to get even with the person, you're doing an Easter from the Torah. That's a very big problem. This is why Jigari people are not at peace with themselves. You understand? You know why, Jigari? Because the neshama feels that you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong inside. That's if you are able to let go and forgive people, understand that it's a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Yosef, Rabotai, just for me, it doesn't, for me, this is a very big concept. The brothers sold Yosef. They wanted to kill him. And still in the end, he says, do not be sad, do not be angry, because you sold me. But really, you should know, it was not you. It was really Hashem that sent me over here. Come on, you have to be a giant to think like that. But this is the secret you got. If you are able to do it, you're going to be able to have a better life. If you are able to do it, you're going to be able to be more happier. You're going to enjoy your time with your family more, with yourself more, the food that you eat more. You understand? Nothing's going to be eating you alive. But we have to be able to let go and forgive other people for the wrong that they did to us. We can't hold on to it. You can't run up a hill with a lot of baggage on your back. That you cannot do, Jigarik. If you want to be able to run, you have to let go of the baggage that's from the past.
Easier said than done, Rabbi, but definitely something that we should all be working on.
But I'll tell you something that you know what you should always remember? You should always put the words of Torah in front of you. You should always ask yourself, what does Hashem want from me? I'm not a perfect guy, I'll tell you like this, I'm not a perfect man. But I don't understand how one can be upset with one's wife or with one's children or with one's why you can I ask you a question, Jigarik? If I take a stick right now, correct, and I hit the dog, who's you gonna go after?
The stick.
Well, is he normal or not? Who's hitting him, me or the stick?
Right.
The same thing with us, you understand? We are looking in the wrong place. You have to understand, it's not the wife, it's not the children, it's not the people around you, it's not your situation. It's Hashem. When you start realizing that Hashem is in front of you at all times, and He's guiding you, and He's watching over you, it's much easier to serve God. It's much easier to be happy, you understand? Do you know, Jigari, there's a Gemara in Masech Divamot. It says that a person should never worry what's going to happen tomorrow. Jack, do you know why? Jack?
Why?
Do you have any idea why? Who guarantees you're going to make it today? So the Gemara says people die. And the problem that they worried about tomorrow never came to fruition. There's no reason to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. A person has to be able to enjoy and live today. But how do you do, Jigarik? Understanding that Hashem is the only one that runs your life. Today, everything you and I have is directly handed down to us through Hashem. Nobody can hurt you. Nobody can help you. Nobody can do anything to you if Hashem doesn't allow it. If Hashem allows it, that means He wanted that to happen. Yes? Okay, Rabotai, if you have any questions, I'll take it. If not, tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to have Nathaniel alive. And then Jugarik Thursday is Rabbi Salomonov.
Yes.
Okay?
Rabbi, good
Rabbi,
question.
thank you
Were
so
able
much.
to find out about
Yes, I
the
did,
thing
Rafael. I actually did. Even though we spoke yesterday with you, right? And somebody told you it wipes out the sins. It does not. It does not wipe out the sins. Absolutely not. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. No. Even though we're going to say that the sins and the mitzvot transfer when you speak bad about another person, nevertheless, you can't say that he's not going to be punished. He'll be held responsible for his sins. You understand? He'll be held responsible. No, we cannot say. I found it actually just today afternoon. I found it out. Thank you for reminding me, Rafael.
Thank you, Rabbi. Have a wonderful day.
I'll see you guys.
Love you, Rabbi. Thank you.
I'll see you guys.
Thank you,
Bye,
Rabbi. Bye.
guys.
Bye.